All right, welcome to another episode from the chart readers. Got to love what we saw in the sector. I think the only outlier might be MSOS, and I'll for sure talk about that on this video. But we got a lot of what we were looking for on the last video, right? So I don't know if you saw it or not. Normally I don't say go back and watch my videos, but hey, I'll bookmark it right here at the 25-second mark real quick. We were looking for a couple things, right? For CGC, it just felt like if we can escape this 133 resistance, there was enough red, red, red to go green, green, green up to the 100 moving average, right? I said 170, we're at 166. That's pretty much it right there, right? Big, 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 big channel all the way up from the 100 to the 200, all right? I think it's important to keep this previous death line. Definitely, that's an important line right there, right? But just like I'm seeing a whole mess of red, red, red that made me think green, 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 there is a lot of red, 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 red with just that little green, green, right? This is once again a very nice channel, right? So, a lot to like here, and potentially more coming, all right? With Tilray, look, again, if you watched the video, I was looking for something around 48 cents, right? And I know this looks like a good big candle, right? I know this looks like a nice double-digit percent. There's still a little bit of a I don't want to say 50-50. I think there's a lot more to like than not like. All right, I'm going to go over it shortly, but we got green over red on both. We have nice volume. We're obviously over the 8 and the 20. Like there's nice things to like. I think we still need just a little bit more to believe. All right, so that's with Tilray. ACB, I think, is still worth keeping on the radar. All right. It wanted to escape all the moving averages. You see all five right here, right? You know, I don't like a cluster. There's all five are pretty tight together, right? That's a cluster right there. So there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's still trying. It's still trying, right? And I think that's at least an interesting keep it on the radar. And then high tide, look, no, see, sometimes typos do good things. High tide, we talked about being not bad, but by no means good. I thought it was more of a decent neutral. I think the fact that it went pretty much horizontal the whole week really emphasizes a lot of that, right? SNDL, I say it mimics Tilray a lot. I think that's the same Tilray mimic right there, right? That's a nice, strong, full candle. There's still a little bit of I don't know on this chart, and I think that echoes a lot of what I just said on Tilray. And then lastly, MSOS. Look, I saw the day gap up in the open, right? You can see the Thursday, well, I guess it's not really a gap up. Thursday closes at $2.80. This one opens at $2.81, so it does go up a penny higher. I saw it going up, and you can see the wick actually kisses 290, right? And then in the last 2 hours, that was a pretty weird drop right there. You can say that there's a technical thing going on, but yeah, I didn't see that same drop on the other ones, especially when I was talking about how strong most of these candles were. So little bit of a I don't know what happened here. I did mention that MSOS was the worst of all of them, right? So maybe it is a little bit of that, but yeah, that's an interesting outlier to say the least, all right? And then again, I'm still looking at a very happy S&P 500. This is a number of candles over all five moving averages, right? We've got golden crosses happening. I'm still seeing a Dow Jones that's been trying, and that was a good place to end on Friday. We still need a little bit more, and maybe that echoes a little bit of some of the comments I'm about to go, right? And then again, I don't look at NASDAQ too much because really we're just talking about farming and we're just talking about selling things in a store, right? Like there's no e-commerce or anything like that, right? So S&P looks really good. Dow Jones looks like it's really trying really hard. And actually, NASDAQ does look good. I like tech, so I do know that, right? The weekly charts are what matter on both. So last week was an important week. We are trying to get over all five moving averages. Last week was an important week. We are trying to get over all five moving averages. That's at least a commonality with these two. I need follow through this coming week, all right? We've been talking a bit about, I don't know what that was. We've been talking a bit about this credit downgrade. Let's go up one more time, all right? I've never seen this before, so I don't really know how important it is. You can see that he's sharing a video. This is one of the moderators, right? That it doesn't matter. Personally, I don't know. What I care about, and I mean, I don't even need to say the words. As long as we don't lose moving averages on the daily, as long as we don't go from trying to escape to all of a sudden we're right back down to 42K on the Dow Jones, as long as we don't lose moving averages on the daily, I will agree with that, that it doesn't matter. Personally, I think it might matter a little bit, and we'll see what the indices do, right? But as long as the indices are happy, our tickers that we buy and sell should be happy as well, right? And especially when there's a whole mess of red, red, red and very few resistances, good things happen when channels are nice, right? So, cool. Before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So I was sharing this screenshot right here. So this is the YouTube video I made on the 12th. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. How did I zoom in? I thought there was a way to zoom in. Damn, I'm so bad at this stuff. Look, 170 was my target on CGC. Again, I say my lines aren't here for perfect. What was I hunting for? I was hunting for the 100 moving average, right? And there was a whole mess of stuff on the Discord. There was a whole mess of stuff on a bunch of different posts saying, why is this moving? There's no news, meme this and squeeze that. Look, to me, this was what we were looking for on the 12th, right? There was no need for news. This was a technical push, right? I see a lot of people talking about, hey, maybe there's like legalization around the corner and this and that. Look, to me, that's what rumor fueling technicals means to me, right? And again, we were looking for 170 on the 12th, and it was a combination of two things, right? Around the 12th, and you can see actually exactly on the 12th, that was the first candle over all 5 moving averages, right? So right away, my under some or under all moving averages feel like a dime, right? Like Barry Sanders cutting, right? Like I quickly flip because again, you live and die by these lines. So on the 12th, we started to believe, you know what? I think this might be a real candle here. I think we might be trying to get over these 3 and go to that one, right? When it's echoed on the Dow Jones, not as loudly, but you can see the 12th was the day that it tried to escape. It just makes me start to say, you know what, let's loosen some stuff and see what's going to happen, right? I think the CGC chart actually very much mimics the Dow Jones. Look at that, right? We have a nice day on the 12th. We come back down a little bit, moving average does its job and we bounce right back up. That's exactly what I see here. We have a good 12th. We come back down. Obviously, the Thursday wasn't as good, right? But the moving averages do the job. This line that I drew, I'm not going to give credit to this line, right? To me, I always say these computer generated lines matter more than my little human clicks, right? But that's roughly 50% of this candle. It's probably a little lower than 50%, but whatever. It's bottom, top, bottom. Yeah, it was a pretty decent line, right? But 2 moving averages do the job. The Dow Jones does the job. Boom. That's the rest that we were looking for, right? So to me, I'm not here really buying any rumors of this and that, but fuel it, baby, fuel it, right? Like that's what's gonna bring double the expected, right? The 50-day average looks like it was about 7 million. Well, yeah, it's 6 point something. We got 14 point something, right? So I love it, right? What's next? It's all about the 100 moving average. All right, this is a good candle. Clearly, you can see the green line is, the green candle close is over the 100. If you look in the box over there, the high of the day was 166. The close of the day was 166. That's a strong candle. That's people buying and buying and buying and buying, and then the market saying, hey, get out of here, we're closed, right? So that's nice right there, right? I'm also really liking the fact I'll probably keep this line. I don't think we need to delete it. Between 160 and 180, there is nothing but red, and nothing, right? So there's actually a pretty good path to that. And arguably, you can probably raise the line to this 196 line. You can maybe say, maybe even take half that candle and call it $2 flat, right? That's right around where this earnings candle like hits and we fall to. I think that's a decent $2 line right there. I think I'm probably going to keep the $2 line. I think there's a real reason to believe $2 is next, and it's all about can we break this 100 moving average, right? It's a little hard to find a money line right there, and it's actually a little hard to find a money line right here. Nice. Let's see if the hourly will give me one. We're already even over that. Oh, that's a cool one. Let's use 169. I think if we go 169, that'll probably take us to 182. You take 182, you'll take that too. So look for 169 if you're not in already. The lower case, I could see this dropping to about 153. Truth be told, this is actually really bullish as long as it's over 145. All right. If I had to guess, that moving average is probably going to open around that 145, 147 range. So I think as long as you're over 145 on CGC, there's a lot to like. Break that 169, and I think $2 is next. Even after this $2 place, that 280 death line, roughly speaking, is where that 200 moving average is probably going to come to soon, right? Red, green, red, nothing over that. So there's a lot to like. And hey, end of the day, you break the 100, I believe you're going to start going to the 200, right? So there's a lot to like here. There really is. I think it's all going to hinge on two things. Number one is Dow Jones, because we just said it looks like it's mimicking it a lot, right? Is this going to continue on up to 43,000? That's basically what we're looking for next. You can maybe say that, but no, I think I'd be looking for 43,000 flat, right? Or is this going to come back down to 42,300? That's going to make me believe one thing. And then really they're connected, but I think the other thing is, did I just move away from it? Dang, I just moved away from it. It's this. All right, what's this U.S. credit downgrade going to do to the market? All right, I really don't know. Again, this he thinks it's not going to do much, right? We're just here sharing opinions, right? So hopefully he's right. As long as we don't lose moving averages, I think there's good reasons to think continuation right here. So went a little longer on CGC than I expected, but yeah, I think I like it right there. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. So I'm gonna do Tilray, SNDL, and ACB in this cluster right here. All right, so Tilray. I'm going to go back to the screenshot right here. So sorry again, it's really hard to see. Can I zoom in? Man, I don't know how to use technology. It's really embarrassing. 48 cents was the money line. You know what? I might have been looking at this. That's probably what I was doing. That's how I zoomed. Okay, so 48 cents was the money line, and really, though we're at 50 on the close, I don't think we've broken the money line yet. All right, and it's why I started in the opening thoughts with, look, I know that's a really good candle. I know that the 8 and the 20 are clearly down here and we're all the way up here, right? I still really don't know yet. And I think it's for two reasons. Number one, the 8 and the 20 themselves. All right. We've been here before. We've wicked it and failed, wicked it and failed. We've closed above and failed, wicked it and failed, closed above. Are we going to fail again? Is it going to be this moment again right here? Or is this the one that's going to take us? Really, I still don't know yet. All right. The second thing is it's all about this ninth candle. So on the Discord, he used the eighth, right? Again, it was another mod. Again, just checking opinions, right? But he thought it was the 4-8 candle. I live in the US, so I obviously thought he was saying August 4th. It's for sure not August 4th. It is April. April 8th. Goodness, the 4 is, God, dyslexic. I don't know. He thought it was this candle. Actually, I don't think that that's a bad candle thing. To me, I think it's this candle, right? And I think my 48 cents might have been a little bit low. Maybe I was using this candle, actually. I think I was probably using this to call the 48 cents. I think this is probably what we're facing right now. It's this 4 and 9, and it's, look, you can see that 50% is basically what we closed at right now, right? So, and this 50% is basically a cent above, right? So, again, I think all of that, right? All of that. It's not about which day is right, which candle's right. Like they're both basically the same place, right? And that's what you want to do. You want different opinions that are close enough, and you think to yourself, oh, not bad, right? So where are we? It just echoes we're really tight. The 8 and the 20 are tough lines. And then this little moment right here, it is a tough little resistance right here, right? I think what does bother me is there's not too much room up to here, right? Up to here being the 50 moving average. It is a 10% move right now, and maybe the slope isn't crazy down. Maybe it's going to stay around 54 cents, and that's still most of a 10% move, right? What really is nice is if we can get over 55, 56, because from there it echoes the CGC thoughts of, man, that's a lovely channel all the way up to like more than 70s, right? So to me, I think Tilray might be a little better waiting for 55, 56, and then riding that red, green, red, boom, all the way up, right? All right, but hey, I'm not here ever poo-pooing a double-digit gain, right? If you're going to get most of 10%, and you can see it is actually a nice red, green, nothing from here, right? So that's not too bad, but again, different risk rewards, right? I see the MACD and the RSI are both red over green. It is a negative, but it's pretty close to it, right? So I don't necessarily mind, but again, I think I'm going to echo what I ended the CGC thoughts with. It is really important. And again, look at this before I go, just in case you fast forward it. Good on the 12th. Excuse me, a little hiccup. Good on the 12th, came back down. Nice Friday, right? When we look at the Dow Jones, good on the 12th, came back down. Really nice last 2 days, right? So that's what Tilray did. And it's important that the Dow Jones does well. It's important that the Dow Jones escapes and it mimics what the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are doing, right? Otherwise, this is going to come back down. And again, we've seen it where we've closed with that's a good candle. I know there's a little bit of a wick there, but it is just a little bit of a wick. That's a good candle. And even that wasn't enough, right? So this is a better candle, for sure it is. But if you don't confirm, it means absolutely nothing to us, right? So I would say must stay over 46 cents. Again, there's a good target to 44, 45. I actually really like this around 50. Wow. There's a good target up to 54, 55. I actually really like this around 57, and I think 57 is probably where I'm going to be setting that an alert. An alert is not an immediate buying notification, but it's definitely a come check out the charts right there. I think everything I just said echoes SNDL. All right. First off, we're still dancing with this death line. All right. Look, SNDL, obviously we went a little bit below it, but this thing is still actually living on the death line. Tilray lost it a while ago. This thing went from 150 down to cents, right? CGC lost it a while ago and went from almost 3 to under 1, right? So SNDL is still holding this original death line, right? So in some ways, what I'm saying on Tilray is, look, this is a nice candle. There's a decent little path here, but I think for me, I would wait for 143. Let's ride that nice channel up to 160. Red, green, red, right? Like there's some paths from this 135 to maybe 140. Not quite 10%, but it's something. But yeah, you give me 140 to 160, hey, that's a little bit more than 10% and a lot more to like, right? So I think if Tilray can do well, this will probably follow. Both of them are probably going to be following the Dow Jones right there, all right? Lastly was ACB. Look, ACB was definitely one of the three that I liked on my last video, right? Again, going back to the screenshot, I thought it was going to be trying to escape all the MAs, right? So it tried, couldn't, and again, this is the exact same move that we just saw on the Dow Jones, right? So this is a nicer try than it was on the what 13th. Yeah, this is a nicer candle than the 13th, but just like I said with Tilray, right? Just because it's nicer, that doesn't mean that much to me, right? We're not here for a single day. We're here for sustainability. We're here for follow through and more, right? And we need the confirmation. You confirm, and yeah, 613 is green, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 right? So, um, yeah, it's probably worth waiting for 5:30ish. I think I remember setting an alert in around 5:30 if I'm not mistaken on that last video. So I would wait for 5:30. That'll be a nice move up to that 6 something if it hits, right? So again, Dow Jones needs to go. Really the only concern, I keep scrolling back and forth with this just in case. The only real concern at the moment is this credit downgrade. I don't really know what that means right now, right? I've never seen that before. It was the last A credit rating, I think is what I saw. Let's see what the market thinks about that, and then we'll go from there, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at high tide on this one right here. And look, I don't think there's too much to say right here. This is at least doing what we thought, all right? So when we look, I'm not going to go back to it. Look, there's a lot of moving averages right here. And when there's too many moving average, what I liked about high tide previously was there was nice spacing right there. There was nice spacing right there. From here, it started to get a little tight. And the longer it took for us to make the escape, the less time that there was. And look how tight those got. This is a golden line right here, right? So I kind of give a little more respect to this one. But still, more than anything, the moving averages matter. And 4 of them are really, really close to each other, right? So I think it makes sense that this thing stayed horizontal. I think if those other ones can start doing better, and the Dow Jones isn't really concerned with this downgrade news, right, that's going around, I think there's nothing else that this thing can do but go up with the sector, right? If both go down, right, the Dow Jones and the other ones that I was just covering, I think we'd be coming down to here, right? So really for high tide, I think the smartest thing I could say is over 254, I really like it. Under 220, I don't. I think anything in between is basically neutral. All right. And I can see us going up and down between these because, again, you can see all 5 are living between those lines, all 5 moving averages, right? And yeah, that's just what happens, right? Moving averages, when they get too tight, aside from calling them a cluster, I call it a tornado sometimes. And you get thrown up, you get sucked down, thrown up, sucked down. And it's oftentimes like there's no control to it, right? And you just have to wait for that big escape, right? And these are probably going to be the lines that dictate that. So not too much to say, but I think it still echoes what we were looking for on the last video right here. I think we'll wind it out with MSOS, and again, I think I can't stress, I don't know what happened in these last 2 hours. I think it's really easy to say the 100 moving average, like we tried, we failed, right? Like those are normal technical words that I would say, but I don't understand how CGC in the last hours kept going up. Tilray kept going up, right? ACB, flat, but didn't drop and tank those last 2, right? SNDL, right? That's a good last 2 hours right there. Even high tide had to at least stay flat, right? Like that's not a bad last 2 hours right there. Why did MSOS drop that hard? I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense to me. Again, I can use the technicals as a something. I can easily say, hey, on the last video, MSOS was the one that I didn't like. You can see it's red under the things, right? But yeah, to me, and again, I think this goes back to what I said about MSOS on the last one. This was the worst one on the 12th. This was under all the moving averages instead of above it. So this was wildly disjointed from the sector. And again, on this 1 hour chart, it is just wildly disjointed. Some of them were maybe flat. Most of them were actually still going up. This one tanked very hard on that first hour and on that second hour, right? So I don't get why MSOS is so disjointed. And I think in some ways, if the rumors of legalization were valid, MSOS would not be doing this, right? So to me, I think it goes back to all those other ones that did well. It's because we were expecting the technical move on the 12th, not because there's something brewing, right? But shh, don't tell the people that. Let the rumors come and let the volumes come, right? So I still really don't like MSOS compared to the rest, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so, so much.